Every baseball career begins with the first game. Most disappear into the endless catalog of box scores. Four at-bats, maybe a hit, maybe not, a handshake, a bus ride to the next city. But every so often, a debut carries a scent that history only recognizes years later. June 24th, 1979. Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, first game of a Sunday doubleheader. Texas 5, Oakland 1. On paper, it's forgettable. In reality, it's one of the most important afternoons baseball has ever witnessed, because this is the day Rickey Henderson walks onto a major league field for the first time. Today, we know what comes next. More stolen bases than anyone in history. More runs than anyone in history. Perhaps the greatest leadoff hitter ever to live. But none of that exists yet. Today he's simply a 20-year-old Rickey wearing green and gold. And despite the photo at the top of our episode, he's wearing number 39. And baseball has no idea what has just arrived. His very first major league plate appearance tells us almost everything. Leading off the bottom of the first inning, John Henry Johnson delivers. Rickey drives it into right field. Double. Not a nervous ground ball, not a bloop, not a walk, a ringing double. One swing into a major league career, and he's standing on second base. The Coliseum probably applauds politely. No one knows they're watching history introduce itself. The next batter, Dave Chalk, singles. Rickey races to third, nobody out. Oakland has first and third. Then comes one of baseball's cruel little lessons. Wayne Gross flies out. One out. Jeff Newman lifts another fly ball to right. Rickey tags. He breaks for home. The throw comes in. Out. His first attempt to score in the majors ends at home plate. Instead of celebrating baseball's newest star, Rickey walks back toward the dugout. The inning ends scoreless. There's something beautifully symbolic about that. History rarely arrives cleanly. Sometimes greatness begins with failure. The second time, Rickey comes up in the third inning. He singles to left. Now he's standing on first. This time he doesn't wait. He steals second. His first stolen base. One stolen base. Today it sounds almost laughably ordinary. Except his first stolen base becomes the first page of an impossible story. 1 becomes 10. 10 becomes 100. 100 becomes 500. 500 becomes 1,000. Eventually 1,406. A record that still feels almost fictional. Every mountain begins with one step. Every stolen base record begins with one stolen base. What's remarkable isn't simply that Rickey steals second. It's how ordinary it looks. No celebration, no pause, no sense that baseball's geometry has just changed forever. That's often how destiny works. It whispers before it shouts. Meanwhile, across the diamond, the Rangers are quietly building something different. For 4 innings, Matt Keogh matches John Henry Johnson almost pitch for pitch. Zeros everywhere. Then baseball reminds us how quickly afternoons can turn. The 5th inning, single. Pat Putnam drives in 2. John Ellis falls with a 3-run homer into deep left. 5 runs, 1 inning, 1 explosion. The game is essentially over. Oakland scratches across a run in the 6th. Mitchell Page singles home Wayne Gross. Final score, Texas 5, Oakland 1. Rickey's line is almost modest. 4 at-bats, 2 hits, a double, a single, 1 stolen base, no runs scored, no RBIs, no home runs. If you had only the box score, you might never notice him. That's one of baseball's beautiful deceptions. The biggest story isn't always the biggest performance. Sometimes the future hides inside a routine afternoon. Sometimes the dynasty begins in defeat. Sometimes history loses the game. Rickey Henderson's debut reminds us that baseball isn't only about victories. It's about beginnings, the first hit, the first stolen base, the first glimpse of something the sport had never quite seen before. There were players in that stadium who had accomplished far more than Rickey Henderson on June 24th, 1979, but only one player walked onto that field carrying a future nobody could yet imagine. That's why we love Dates with Destiny, because destiny rarely announces itself. It doesn't arrive with fireworks or headlines. Sometimes it arrives wearing number 39, collecting 2 hits in a losing effort, stealing 1 quiet base before the crowd heads home thinking they simply watched the first game of a doubleheader. History knows better. Baseball remembers. And if you learn to smell the game, you'll recognize that some afternoons carry the scent of forever long before the record books catch up. I'm Mr. Baseball. Keep smelling the game. This has been Dates with Destiny, a Smell Baseball podcast.